Hey robot makers, do you want to know how to make a Pomodoro timer for your AI assistant? Then keep watching. So if you've not heard of the Pomodoro technique, it's a productivity technique that involves this little kitchen timer which is based on a Pomodoro tomato. Pomodoro is Italian for tomato. And typically you set the timer for say 25 minutes, you do some focused activity work, and then when the timer goes off, you take a break for say 5 to 10 minutes and then reset the timer and then go again. After 4 sessions, that's considered to be a set and you completed a productivity goal. Last week I created this little robot which is a Pomodoro timer, and I created this in MicroPython, and that got me thinking, why don't we do the same thing by upgrading our Python AI assistant using this Pomodoro skill? So let's get to it. So over here in Visual Studio Code, this is where we left off when we were previously doing the skills and plugins upgrade. So what we want to do is create a brand new skill for Pomodoro timer. First of all, let's head over to our skills folder and create a brand new file. And let's just call this pomodoro.py. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to import the skills from skills import factory, and we're also going to import from AI import AI, and we're also going to import time. We're going to be using time quite a bit in this function, and we're also going to import threading. We're going to create threads. So I've created a brand new module which is called countdown timer, and I've uploaded that to PyPy, so it makes it very easy for us to actually install this. So let's come down here and we simply do pip install and then simple dash countdown timer. So that's going to go to PyPy, it's going to grab countdown timer and it's going to install it for us. So let's go ahead and import countdown timer from countdown timer, import countdown timer. There we go. And we also need to include data classes. So from data classes, import data class. We're going to decorate a data class and we're going to create a new class and we're going to call it Pomodoro skill. We're going to name this skill Pomodoro skill, all in lowercase. And we're going to create an initialization function. And what we're going to do is we're just going to bring it, we don't need alf for that bit. Let's get rid of that. Just need self, and we're going to say self.pomodoro equals countdown timer, which is the countdown timer class that I've created. Now countdown timer class has got a couple of different functions in it. It's got things like reset, it can give us back the remaining time, the target time, we can set the duration. I've created all the documentation for this over on PyPy, so you can check that out as well. We'll have a look at that in a second before we start using it. So that's all we need to do there. We just need to have some brackets on there because it's a class, and then let's create the usual kind of thing that we need in our skill. We need a set of commands, so let's return, and we'll have set timer. Let's also have start Pomodoro. We could simply just have the word Pomodoro as well. Oops. And let's have how long left, and also how long is left. Right, that'll do for now. Let's now create one for countdown, and this one does need the AI being passed to it. And what we'll say is while not self.pomodoro.isAlarm. So we have a function that's called isAlarm. This will be true if the countdown timer has reached 0. It will be true. If the countdown timer is still counting down, it'll be false. So while it's not true and then we haven't hit the countdown timer yet, we want it to do something. So I'll say time.sleep 0.5. We'll just sleep for half a second. And we need a little colon at the end of the line there. And then we need to create some kind of message. So let's say message equals the Pomodoro timer has finished. There we go. And then let's just do ai.say the message. Now the reason I've created that instead of using the handle command function is because we want to create that in a thread so that it can go off in the background, it can be counting down, and our AI isn't blocked by that function that's counting down and sleeping. So let's create our usual handle command function, and what we'll do in here, we will do message equals nothing. We will then say if command equals set timer, then we want the Pomodoro timer to set to 25 minutes. Now, because we're doing this and we want to test it out first of all, probably makes more sense rather than waiting the full 25 minutes, let's actually set the timer duration to be something like maybe 10 seconds. So what we'll do, instead of doing the set timer, we'll say pomodoro.reset. We will say pomodoro.duration in seconds equals, and let's go for 10 seconds for now. And then we'll say message equals countdown started. I'll let you know when it's done. Okay. Now we want to create a new thread. Let's get rid of that message there, we don't want that one. So what we want to do now is we want to create a brand new thread, and this means that we can spin off it. This is the haunted clock. So we want to create a new thread. This will go run in the background, and once the timer is done, it can then return to this main program. So we say thread equals threading.thread, and then the target is going to be the function that we've created above, which is called countdown. So self.countdown, and the arguments are what we want to pass to it, which is the AI function. there. So that's what we need to do, and then we need to start the thread. So the next line is thread.start, and then finally we need to do ai.say to just say a message. So this will say either nothing or it will say countdown timer is started, I'll let you know when it's done. We'll need to add the other functions in for how long is left, but we'll do that in a minute. What we need to do now is make it say the message and then just return the message as well. Okay, and then finally, as with all our skills, we need to have an initialization. Let's just go down here and say initialize, and we do factory.register, and we're going to register the Pomodoro skill. So this needs to be lowercase and this one needs to be uppercase. This one matches the name of the skill. This one matches the name of the skill as we're going to add it to our list of skills in a minute. So I also like to just print something to the console that just says that that skill has been loaded. Let's just do that. Pomodoro skill loaded. Okay, let's save that. What we need to do next is go over to our skills.py, and we need our skills.json, sorry. And what we need to do is add in two places the new skill. So at the very end of this list, we just need to add a new thing, which is skills.pomodoro. And down here, what we need to do is just add a new comma to the end of that block. And we then need to just add name.pomodoro skill, again, lowercase, to match the thing that we've registered in the factory. Okay, so that should be everything we need. Let's go back to our alpha.py and then let's run this. We don't need to change any of the main engine. We'll just run this and see what happens. Just loading the model. So it's having a problem there with the countdown timer. Let me just have a quick look what's going on there. That'll be in the Pomodoro, and let's just see. So from countdown timer, import countdown timer. So I've just spotted what the bug is there. Countdown timer is countdown timer all in sentence K or capital K, so that needs to be capital D there. That's what was going wrong, and let's just make sure where we create a new instance of that, that's coming through correctly. So from countdown timer include countdown timer, there we go. Let's run this again and see how we get on. So it's just loading up the model. It takes a couple of seconds for that to process and analyze and do whatever it has to do.
Hello.
Set timer. Set timer. Set timer. Set timer.
Countdown started. I'll let you know when it's done.
Tell me a joke.
The Pomodoro timer has finished.
There we go. So it'll cut off midway through. If it's saying something else and the Pomodoro timer has finished, it basically just cuts across. So we'll do that again just so you can see. I'll try and ask it to do the joke a bit quicker this time. Set timer.
Countdown started. I'll let you know when it's done.
Tell me a joke.
Why did the programmer quit his job? Because he didn't get the Pomodoro timer has finished.
There we go. So it cuts across. We could perhaps make that a little bit more fluid, or maybe have it as a cue so that it doesn't interrupt itself, so it does finish what it's saying. However, we want the Pomodoro timer to sort of kick in, so this works quite well actually. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So I have the documentation here on the screen. If you go to github.com/KevinMcAleer/countdown timer, you'll find the documentation, and I've spent quite a bit of time writing up each of the functions and giving you a couple of examples of how to use it. So for example, c equals countdown timer, c.duration equals 1 minute, c.reset, which will reset the clock and reset the alarm, and then while not c.isAlarm, we can then do c.status, and we can sleep for a quarter of a second. Once it's done, it will then say print timer is done. So we can use that in a second just to see what the status looks like. And I've also written each of the functions an example of what it does there. So you'll find that over there, and there's also a link to the little robot video that I created for this little guy, which is the Pomodoro timer robot. And if you go to PyPy, you can also find this by just simply typing in simple countdown timer, and you'll find there version 0.0.2, which is what I've just updated it to. So we click on that, you'll also find the exact same page there. So the functional reference and all the different functions and what they do, with a link to the video too. And you can see there we've got a link to me, we have a link to the bug tracker, and also the home page, which just takes you to the GitHub repository. So let's have a look at the status function as well very briefly. So we go back over to Visual Studio, and let's just quit out of this for a second. Let's just make sure we've got the latest version installed. So pip install simple countdown timer. So there we are, and we can also do -- upgrade just in case there's a slightly newer version, but 0.0.2 is the right version currently. And then let's go into Python. We'll do from countdown timer import countdown timer, c equals countdown timer, and it says there start time, so let's do c.duration in seconds, and we'll do this for 30 seconds. And then if we do c.status, we can see there that we have so long remaining. Now because alarm is true, so we do c.isAlarm, so the alarm's gone off. So if we now do c.reset and do c.alarm, we can now see it's false, and it'll count down. If we do that status message, we'll see it counting down there from the 30 seconds. Just curious why it says 1 hour there. That looks like that's a little bug, so I'll look at squashing that shortly. But we can see there it is actually working correctly, it's just reporting that hour wrong. In 7 seconds it's going to, the alarm will be true. So let's just, there we go. And now when we do c.status, it doesn't return anything because it only returns something if it's counting down. If we do c.either alarm, which is the internal, or we can do isAlarm, which is a function. Like so, and that returns the same thing. So I hope you enjoyed this short video, and I shall see you next time. Bye for now. Goodbye.
Goodbye.